As you well know by now, 6 of the 8 terrorists who attempted to murder thousands of Brits are doctors in Britain's National Health Service. But look at it this way. At least they have national health care, right? The enemy has infiltrated Britain's National Health Service. This from the Daily Mail. More than 6,000 doctors who qualified in the Middle East are among the 240,000 working in the healthcare service, and many will have been subject to only the most cursory security checks before they entered the country. And let me underscore for you, my friends, the kind of security check that the proponents of the phony comprehensive bill were proposing that we do in this country, except with millions and millions of people. Thank God we killed that. An estimated 80,000 foreign doctors are working in the National Health Service, including 6,000 who trained in the Middle East. Almost a third, 1,985, were trained in Iraq. And another 184 came from Jordan, and 49 trained in Lebanon. But the identity checks carried out by the General Medical Council are usually as simple as checking the photo on their passports. And the Immigration Service relies heavily on applicants' honesty to disclose any criminal convictions. Well, you have to assume now that the government in Britain is going to tighten things up, that they've seen the light. You even have former terrorists. You even have former Islamic Nazis speaking up. Speaking up, I read about it last night, speaking up and saying, look what's going on. They've hijacked our religion. They mean you harm. They mean us harm. We've got to stand up to them. And do we ever embrace these Muslims who speak like this, who warn us? No, we don't. Instead, groups like CARE are given prominence, unindicted co-conspirator, that organization. They're out now trying to smear Cal Thomas, who was a great columnist, just as they were out to smear Paul Harvey, just as they're out to smear me, just as they're out to smear anybody who stands up to them. I've warned them before. They've got a lot to hide. They've got a lot that you and I want to see. Their connections, their money, their emails, their phone logs. Depositions are funny things. You can learn a lot. CARE. I could care less about CARE. And so, the new Prime Minister of Britain, surely he's going to put his foot down. Surely he's going to toughen up. Surely he's going to make sure that his government, like the National Health Service, is going to do the right thing. And yet, he's not. The intelligence services, law enforcement in Britain are top shelf. Absolutely outstanding. And so are ours. The problem, once again, is with the politicians. Listen to this from the Daily Express. British Prime Minister Gordon Brown has banned ministers from using the word Muslim in connection with the terrorism crisis. Well, what will they call these terrorists who use their religion? Who want you to know them by their religion? Should we call them Swedes? Should we call them Swedes from now on? Would that do the trick? He has also instructed his team, including new Homeland Secretary Jacques Smith, that the phrase war on terror is to be dropped. Have these people lost their minds? Did they ever have minds to begin with? The shakeup is part of a fresh attempt to improve community relations and avoid offending Muslims, adopting a more consensual tone than existed under Tony Blair. Mr. Brown's spokesman acknowledged yesterday that ministers have been given specific guidelines to avoid inflammatory language. Okay. So when the terrorists use the word jihad, we should pretend there is no such word. When they issue videos claiming that Muhammad, that Allah, has told them to do what they're doing? What, we should pretend it's Jesus Christ doing it? We should pretend it's Moses? What should we do? I need more guidance. I need more education. I need help. I need to know what I'm supposed to say. He confirmed that the phrase war on terror, strongly associated with Mr. Blair and U.S. President George Bush, has been dropped. I love the British people. It's their politicians I detest. Britain used to be a truly powerful country. Its ships really did cover one end of the globe to the other, as did the British Empire. Today, people who beat their chests tell you who they are, tell you what they represent, are to be ignored. Are to be ignored. If you don't know what the problem is, you're not going to survive. There's book after book after book by wonderful people, by Muslims, warning us in the world of what's going on with their own faith, how it's been hijacked. These are wonderful people. We have our wonderful friend who comes on our program, Jazur. And yet, we can't use these words. We should get Zuhdi Jasser back. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Grams offered.
Jim, Northern New Jersey, WABC. Go.
How you doing, Mark? Happy early Independence Day to you. Happy one.
You too, brother.
Thank you. I just wanted to touch on something that you had said a couple of weeks ago, sort of explaining about how the Middle East has been taken over by fundamental Islamic terrorists and how they're, trying to exterminate the Mideast of Jews and Christians. I'm a fourth-generation Catholic Syrian. And this has been going on for thousands of years. My great-grandmother's sister, may she rest in peace, was raped and then subsequently murdered only because of her Catholic Christian faith. I mean, the world community really needs to open up their eyes and open up their, and stop being politically correct and see that.
Well, Jim, let me underscore your point. We have black Christians in the Sudan, as I speak, who are being raped and tortured and slaughtered. Now, does the Prime Minister of Britain have anything to say about that?
No.
We have Christians in Iraq who are being raped, tortured, and slaughtered. Anybody have anything to say about that? We have Jews raped, tortured, and slaughtered throughout the Middle East. And yet, I'm told the victims are the people who are perpetrating these crimes against humanity. I say crap. I don't believe it for 2 seconds. I don't have to believe it, and I'm not going to believe it. I can see what's going on with my own 2 eyes. Now look at what's going on in the Sudan. Why isn't there a worldwide uprising over this? These people being slaughtered this way. The same reason they were in Rwanda. I don't hear the black leaders in this country even talking about this. I hear them talking about Louis Libby. I hear them talking about subpoenas on the U.S. attorneys. My God, people are being slaughtered by the hundreds of thousands, and nothing by the hundreds of thousands by the Arab Muslims that run the Sudan. Now what? Should I be taken off the radio for stating a truth? For God's sakes. Thank you for your call, Jim. It's hard to take. It's hard to take. Here we are in this country listening to all this politically correct crap. Same in Britain. You can't call it the war on terrorism. You can't use the word of the religion. People are being massacred tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There is massive genocide going on in the Sudan, and nobody even talks about it. We'll be right back.